Welcome to my first review / how-to on fitting a 50/50 LED uplighting system. Whether you're a gamer or you own your own production studio, you will definitely know what I'm talking about. So carry on watching if you want your studio / gaming area to look like this. Right guys, so this is the 50/50 LED uplighting system. If you're a gamer or if you've got your own music production studio, which I have or I'm actually currently building, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about and how cool they actually look. There's a lot of YouTube videos and how-tos on the actual fitment of the LED system, but I was looking through them all, and there's, for example, there's people putting the LED tape around the back of the screen, not putting correct components and joints in, and it's kinking up. And for one, that's bad because if you're in a dusty environment or well, there's just dust in the air in general, it's going to stick to the adhesive, and over time it will eventually peel off the back of the TV, back of the desk, etc. So I'm going to cover how to fit them professionally with the right components, the right joints, cabling, how to solder them on, all that good stuff. So this box itself I got for around about £18–19, and it's only the basic kit. This is the one that most people buy. It's got an AC to DC adapter because it's actually a 12-volt system. You get two 5-meter lengths of LED. You get the infrared transmitter and the remote. What you'll need is some miscellaneous tools, screwdrivers, little mini hammer, or Manchesters I like to call it. The Yorkshire people know what I'm talking about. This instalment is specific to my needs, so all the parts that I've got extra on top of the actual kit itself might not necessarily be the ones that you need. For example, I've got to go along the table, underneath it, and then across the back of it. You can get some hard components which change angle, but not the axis. So this is where this part comes into play. This is just to connect two pieces of LED strip and to give it flexibility on the axis. So it goes along the table, changes angle, then changes axis. Right, so these are some hard components which allow you to change angle but not axis. Got a standard extension cable for the 4-pin system, which will go along the skirting board and start the LEDs from another piece of furniture. Stanley knife, insulation tape, which is, I'm not sure when I'm going to be using that, but more than likely I will come across a point in it where I need a little bit. So I'll start by doing the measurements on the table, seeing where the joints are going to go on the hard components, and start to cut them, but without taking off the adhesive, because I'm not wanting to stick them just yet. So all we'll have to do is just measure it out. You can use a tape measure if you like, but I'll just do it by eye. So once I've cut my first part, obviously I'll need a second one for the back. So you just copy the exact same length. So now I've got two. So now I've got to measure the sides of the table, and again, I'll just do it by eye. So now I've got the front, the back, the left and the right. Now it's time to start incorporating some of the connectors. All I'm wanting to do is change angle, not the axis. As you can see, they'll change the angle perfect. It's for the 4-pin system, and these little connectors you will find contact points for the 4 copper pads. Don't know if you can see that there. And then on the other side, another 4 contact points for the LEDs. So I'll just put this together. Just slides underneath like so. Clip that down. Then and one on the other side, and you can see how it works. Super straightforward. So what this will allow me to do is join those 4 pieces I've already cut. Nice and easy. So guys, this is a bit of a learning curve for myself. So to get the LEDs to join to the connector, so I can connect the 4 pieces that I've already cut together, I've got to peel back the waterproof coating, not the adhesive, but you'll see like there's a thin layer of gel just on top. See, but once you've got it peeling, you're onto a winner. As easy as that. So you peel the gel back and the contact points are exposed, and that'll go straight into the 90-degree connector. And what I'll do is I'll just snip that off there, being careful not to go through the track. So there we go. So then the 90-degree connector will fit nicely on the LEDs. What you'll notice on the connectors, there's BGR and a plus sign, and on the same on the LED strip, if you can see that, there is blue, red, green and a plus sign for the 12 volt, and they've all got to be running in line with each other. But as you can see, you've got the letters and the plus sign, which corresponds to the same on the LED strip. So when sticking it on the table, you want to find your centre point. This table is 150 from left to right. I've already put a little mark on it, but I'll just make it a little bit more visible. And the strip is 140, so I've put a little mark on the LEDs and I'm good to stick. The kit that I've got actually has 3M tape, double-sided tape. Always get the kit that has 3M tape on it. There's some even cheaper versions of the kit which doesn't come with 3M tape, and it's rubbish. Make sure all your surfaces are clean. I've got some alcoholic degreaser, so I'm going to wipe the bottom of the table down. And this is actually a smooth melamine base, so it'll stick to this very well. So let's quickly degrease the bottom of the table. Make sure it's the right way, which it's that way. Find my point, and I'll do half at a time. So if you've got a second pair of hands, don't be afraid to ask for help, because it does help. So now that I've got the LEDs underneath the table, I found a good use for these. The actual weight of the connectors are pulling a little bit on the adhesive, and even though the adhesive is pretty strong because it's 3M, just taking that little bit of weight off the corners will help massively. So now that I've got the LEDs going across the front and the sides, it's time to turn the table around and get the LED circuit going up the back of the table and across this back edge. I was planning on using these small connectors, but they're a little bit too short the way that I've got it laid out. So I'm just going to have to use normal cabling, trim and cut, and solder it on direct. Right guys, so I don't know how easy this is for you to see, but I've got a flux pen, which is easy application. You get a few pumps and it starts coming through. You just want to put a little bit of flux on each copper pad, and they are primed for soldering. I don't have to scratch the copper pads to get the oxidation off, because the gel coating was already on the pads, so they haven't been exposed to air for a long time. So all I've got to do is just tin them. And on the cable side of it, you've got your black for your power, and then obviously red, green and blue corresponds to the cable colour. So all I've got to do is, I'm sorry you won't be able to see this part, but I've just got to tin the cables, which will make it easier to solder onto the pads. So I've got blue, red, green. So I've got my cable in there, and that will go up the back. Right guys, so I'll just fast forward it a little bit. As you can see, I fluxed and soldered the terminal pads to the right cables. These clips are coming in handy in a fair few places, more places than I thought they were gonna, because I don't want to be coming backwards and forwards, so they're just for reinforcement purposes. It's holding on pretty good, but it's there as a double measure. Done underneath here as well, and this down here, I might put a little bit of insulation tape on this just to guarantee the invisibility factor. I don't want anybody seeing no cables whatsoever. So now it's onto the extension. I've taken it all the way around. This is actually the back side of it. I'm back to the corner where I first started. I forgot to purchase some female 4-pin connectors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the ends off this extension cable, and this will obviously go down the corner of the wall and across the skirting board. So I'll cut it off both ends, and I'll actually hard solder into the circuit. So once it's there for good. I can't imagine moving this furniture around anyway, so it is what it is. Obviously the perk is of having the female and male connectors is you can take it apart and recycle the system and put it somewhere else. Right, so I'm hoping in here that there is black, red, blue and green cables just to make my life easy. Buzz in. And there is. So that is going to make it so much easier. Strip that off, and as you can see, oh, there's a white one. Let's presume that that's blue. Sugar tits. I'm hoping that's blue. So currently I have gone all around the table, soldered up this corner, changed the angle, changed the axis to go across the edge of the back of the table. In the middle here, it will eventually go up the wall and behind an LG USB-C compatible screen, so I can connect the new MacBook up to it. So I'm just gonna join two of these cables. I've just cut two 2-inch pieces. I'm going to join it to either side and put one of these babies on it. So as you can see, it's a T-junction. What this will allow me to do is create a spur that will eventually go behind the LG monitor at a later date. Connected the B to the B, G to G, R to R, plus to plus. As simple as that. Then connected it to a T-junction, and obviously the monitor lights will come out of this port eventually. But you won't be able to see that whatsoever once it's against the wall. I've connected the extension cable here. So this is ready now to go down this corner here and across this skirting board, and it'll start here again. It'll go full all around those units. So now I'm going to take the 4-pin extension down the corner of the wall, across this skirting board, and it'll join on the other side. Self-explanatory really. Little tiny tacky pins. My wall's plasterboard as well, so that makes it a hell of a lot easier. I'll give it a little bit of slack, just in case it needs to move the table at any point. This is a pain in the ass. I don't know how well you can see it, but I've run the 4-pin extension from the corner of the table, down the corner of the wall, across the skirting board, and I am currently here, and I'm wanting to go up this unit and across. See, I don't want to stick anything down just yet because I think it's going to be quite difficult with the amount of cable I've got left to solder that to the copper pads with it being such a small space. I reckon that's going to be a bit tricky, but I'm going to clear these units and probably work from that end this way. So this should be relatively straightforward. There's only 2 90-degree bends in it. I don't have to change axis or anything like that, so I don't think I've got to mess with the 4-pin cable or anything like that. I've just got to put a couple of these bad boys in. We should be good to go. Right guys, so it's hard to show you at this angle because I've only pulled the units about a foot away from the wall. But yeah, I've gone from that end, folded it down, cable clips just to prevent the weight of the connectors pulling it off. Down, same again here, and across the back, and I've got up to there. So all I've got to do is run it down here, where this will connect to it. This is my final end. It's proving to be very tricky. Very tricky. That's the power, that's the green, that's the red. And like I said, for some reason, the extension cable has a cable that's white, but I've just gone from blue to blue on both ends, so end of the day, it's only a copper wire. Right, so we're on. Right, so bearing in mind that this kit is only £18–19, we do have one issue, which, if you see this joint right here, that is a factory joint there, and on the blue from there upwards and across, it's not working. So I'm going to mess with it, see if it's the solder point that's a little bit dodgy, and go from there. If not, looks like I'll be informing somebody to get me some more. Right guys, so I've tested that factory joint, re-welded it with some of my own solder. Moment of truth, moments of truth. Pow! Yep, happy with that. Happy with that. Looking suave as. Like I said, LG monitor will be there eventually, and I'll run some more up. So that 2 5-metre lengths did all that and left me enough to do the monitor once I get it. What I decided to do was the LEDs that I've put cable clips along the edge. The adhesive is very strong as long as it's 3M, but it starts peeling off a little bit, then if dust starts getting inside it on the sticky, and then it starts coming off a little bit more, and the next thing you know, you've got to replace it. So this should be a double measure and we should be okay. That's the infrared transmitter there for the remote. I'm not going to go into cable management at the moment. Have a look at my vlog on building the production studio if you're interested in that stuff. But that is going to be all pinned nice and tight on the bottom of here and zigzagging that so it's nice and tight. This here, the AC block, that will be attached to the bottom. So yeah, I realised that I didn't really go over much of the functionality of the unit itself. The kit itself is self-explanatory when you're putting it together. And like I've just showed you, it's relatively easy. But the remote, it has quite a lot of different functions. They say it's such a cheap remote. You can pay a lot more for a more advanced kit, one with colour dials and that sort of stuff on. But this is the basic one that you'll find with most of the cheaper kits. There's some buttons on here that I'm not 100% sure what they do, but the ones that I use most and what you will probably use most is your on and off. That's to program your own program, which I'm not sure how to do that yet. Dim up to make it brighter, dim down. You've got your red, green and blue, RGB, and you've got your white, all RGB combined makes white. I know it sounds strange, but that's how it works. You've got all your variations of the colours, not sure what they are. You've got flash and fade, which says it in the name, and you can and quick and slow, so you can make the fade quick or slow, or the flash quick or slow. Yeah, and these, I'll admit, I haven't got a clue. So I'm going to have to look into those, and if anybody knows what they are, in the description below, leave a little comment. I probably won't use them, whatever they are. I'm quite keen on my just my solid colours. Right guys, so if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. And let me know if you like these how-tos / reviews. I'll be sure to do more. I hope this video helps some of you guys out. Until next time, adios amigos.